I busted down Trade Street.
Uh,
We live?
we
It
live.
started?
It started. Hey y'all.
What's good, y'all?
Hey y'all, what's
Hey
good?
y'all.
Oh
Welcome
my
back.
goodness.
Keeping it 100. Thank you so much for joining us. Ooh.
Let me go ahead and what happened?
I need to see some more peoples.
Let me go ahead and share them. Oh.
This live.
Tune in, y'all. Tune in. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, get in this room. Get on up here. We all know we keeping it 100 with you every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. every night. Not every night, every Thursday night.
Every Thursday. Not every night, baby.
Okay.
Not every night, baby.
Every Thursday night, we bringing y'all the hottest information, the latest information, and the most taboo topics that people are really scared to talk about.
Oh my God. You already know what it is. Welcome back to Keeping It 100. My name is Bryce Curry. I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, Rashawn and TQ. And tonight we're going to talk about HIV disclosure and how to go about it and what happens once you disclose. But first, let's get into some house cleaning stuff. Shout out to our sister organization, Crew. Crew stands for Community Resources, Empowerment, and Wellness. They offer mental health counseling and substance abuse counseling to those who need it. They also provide, they provide free HIV testing and services for people who live HIV and the LGBT community. So please reach out to Sean if you'd like to get linked to Crew. Shout out to Project Uplift. Uplift is a case management, just like how we give case management at RAIN, but this is case management for people who are part of the LGBT community, specifically who want a case manager to help them navigate their healthcare, all types of stuff in situations like that. Also, too, we had our AIDS walk. It came and it went, but it went well. Please continue to our AIDS walk, and give us that some money.
I'm about to say, yeah, we still doing the fundraiser to the end of the month, right?
To the end of the month, baby.
Right.
Keep giving us some money so it can service the community. We need that some money, baby. Come on.
All of us can provide you with our links if you want to donate under our name. It's not a problem.
Most definitely.
Not a problem, please. Because I need it.
Oh, Bryce, you know what I forgot, Bryce? What we did not talk about last week, and I totally forgot to say it. What we didn't get to talk about our rebranding. We rebranded.
Yes. RAIN got a new logo. Hello.
Oh, I love it. It's actually up in the corner. If you guys can see,
it's up in the corner. You see right here. We rebranded. New beginnings, new chapters. We all to the all of that. Give it to me, all of that.
Okay.
And also, okay, Sean, what you got for us today?
Oh, MG. Okay. I'm just gonna give y'all a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And the last thing that we're going to end up talking about on my last topic is basically something that it ties into the topic tonight. But first, I want to start off talking about my girl. I'm gonna give y'all 3 hot topics tonight. We're gonna talk about my girl Nicki Minaj dropping her old but new mixtape, Beam Me Up Scotty. This, I think it was last Friday?
Yes, it was last
Friday. She released it, and I've been having it on repeat since. But like, this is definitely I'm a Ken. You know what I'm saying? So I've been following Nicki for years. I'm a true Nicki fan. Like, I go hard for Nicki. I don't go all on social media and be doing that extra back and forth stuff with y'all because it's just not that deep for me. I just let y'all have y'all opinion because everybody's entitled to it. But needless to say, I'm just happy that she released a mixtape again. And tell me how y'all feel about it. What's up? Talk to me.
I feel like y'all new to this, and I'm true to this. I've been bumping Beat Me Up Scotty since day one, since I was in middle school. I feel free. It's my. She said, "Hop out the boat." I feel like just like an immigrant. Okay. I love Nicki. I just love her demeanor and how she came out, how she presented herself and her music. I just love her spirit, her energy. So
yeah,
Nicki, my girl, and that's on Kitty Cat.
Let's say, TQ, how you feel about it? You like Nicki? You Nicki fan now?
No, I'm not. Well, I haven't heard it, honestly.
You haven't heard the album?
I haven't.
Oh my goodness!
But I've seen a lot about it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely.
She's got a filthy mouth for me.
So I feel like, me personally, when it comes to rap, like I used to be one of those ones who be like, girl, they rapping about they coochies and
Right.
having sex and sucking and doing all that type of, like at first I used to be one of those, but then I realized like, it's just bars. Like they really
Yeah.
just be, it's metaphors and stuff they come up with, but it's like, besides that, I just Nikki as a woman has experienced a lot in this industry when it comes to rap. She has not won a Grammy yet,
Mm.
only because I feel like the industry has definitely been shading her. We give credit to these other celebrities or these other rappers, based off of credentials or how they came up in the game, this, that, and the third. But not knowing everyone has a different story, everyone has a different lane.
Right.
Shout out to all the girls that's in the rap game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a hater, but I am a true Nicki fan. So it's like I really hate to see her really go through what she's going through in the industry because like she deserves. Like no cap, she really, really deserves. Like regardless of how people feel, Nikki she really been putting in the work. She really branched off, did the mother thing. She did the whole baby thing right now. She got what she said she really wanted when she first started in the game. And shout out to Nikki. That's my girl. That's all I gotta say. Y'all, I can keep going on and on about Nikki and her music, but this shout out to Nikki because that's my girl. No cap.
What else you got for me, baby?
So the second topic, now this gets a little bit more serious because I was actually told about this by my mumu. I don't know if y'all probably don't know who mumu is, but anyway, my mumu told me about this topic today while I was at work. When he told me, like, kind of threw me off because I was not aware of the situation at first. I read up on it while we was at work, and it really touched me. It's about a young 20-year-old Iranian guy who was trying to basically enlist in the military in Iran. Um, but he did confess the fact that he was a part of the LGBTQ community. Once he did that, they marked that on your like I guess they information stuff there as far as military goes. And not his biological family, but his extended family from a guy that he was talking to. They both was Iranian. His family killed the boy, the 20-year-old Iranian guy. They really like disconfigured his body and everything, and it was out in the woods when they did it. And they actually called the boy's mom and told the mom to come pick up the body. I don't, I guess for me, when I heard about this story, when I was reading up on it, we really got it good over here in the U.S. Even watching, documentaries and things on National Geographic, about like how it is in different countries and how they literally do not tolerate the homosexual thing. Like you literally would get beheaded, you can get killed and shot. I mean, literally murdered, decompose. They don't even care. Like they literally would do whatever they have to do to off you because you are a part of the gay community. Just me telling y'all that. How do y'all feel about that? Like, how would y'all like? What is your mindset when it comes to that? Like, what do you automatically think about when you hear about a guy basically who wanted to just live a natural life? He couldn't because he was gay.
It saddens me, especially since it's 2021. People should have open minds. We are who we are. We like who we like. We're not doing any harm to you, so why are you causing harm upon us, my community?
Right. Right.
I feel like it's always like religion based and how people feel about how their religion is more important than your life. So they would rather kill you to fall into a certain lifestyle, certain belief, than just let you live your life peacefully. And it breaks my heart because it's like, how could you say that your religion spreads peace and love, but then you like murdering? And that doesn't just go for it. That goes for Christianity too. That goes for any religion that attacks LGBT people. And it's just, and I will say it is much more. I would say it's much more easier being LGBTQ over here in the States, but people in America are still facing
a lot of
being LGBTQ here in the States. So it's just, it breaks my heart.
So just to know that because of your personal life, who you choose to date and how you choose to date or whom you choose to marry or be in a relationship with, it really baffles me like that these countries really can like judge people like that. Like it throws me off. Like I really don't understand why is it such this bad thing to like people make it seem like this bad thing to be gay, like it's just so wrong, and it's just even growing up, hearing in the Bible, just like you were saying, Bryce, this whole religion thing, like just growing up and being in church, like I used to be scared to go to church because I felt like I was just a big sin just walking through the church doors. Like everybody knows Buddha and Sean because he's gay, or like just because even sometimes when you in church and people looking at you funny and looking at you weird when it's time for communion and stuff, and they like, oh, why is this gay boy? He's sinning and he taking, he's partaking of it just the stuff you would hear growing up. I know for me, hearing it just really made me like question whether or not being gay was okay. Like I struggled with that for so long that it really just it traumatized me as a child. Because still, to this very day, sometimes when people talk about religion and homosexuality and being condemned in the Bible, and you're not supposed to live this way, you're supposed to marry a woman and have kids, and da 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 da, you're supposed to be the king. If we really being technical, and we really, it was questions I asked. I'm like, well, if y'all saying God know me, He knows me, He knows my heart, He knows what I'm gonna say before I say it. He knew I was gonna be this way before I was this way. So why are y'all mad at me?
I'm smiling because that's the same revelation I used to have. I used to be like, if God made me in His perfect image, then why are y'all so mad about who I am? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh man, it's
just a lot of hatred and a lot of judgmental people, and they want to take the Bible and make it a bend around what they want to bend around. Because Absolutely. If you want to be technical, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. You have so many people out here seeing it in their own way and think it's okay, but when it comes down to homosexuality, oh, they are against it.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely agreed. Agreed. People will make certain things okay, but then when it when it comes just to that, that's nasty. How could you date the same sex and how y'all be doing this? It does not matter. That's none of your business. Like,
you got the same reason why you got 7 kids with 6 different dudes. Leave me alone. Don't do that. That's right. Nasty too.
Like you figured out like no shade. For real. Like it really be making you want to break nasty like that because people really be like really coming for gay people. Like it's I ain't even gonna go there. But they really do be coming for a lot. Like I really was getting ready to go break it down in that area because I really protect. Like I love my community, not even just my community. Even when it comes to my split community, my cisgender people. I love everyone the same. I don't treat anybody different. But when it comes to the LGBTQ community, I really do feel like we deal with so much on a daily basis. Like mentally, we are kind of like. I ain't gonna say everybody's mentally broken when it comes to that because everybody, they do their own thing and how they do it, but it just makes you just want to go harder. Like, oh, y'all really want? Oh, you want to act like this? Oh no, okay, cool. We got this coming too. Right. Like, we're out here, like we're everywhere. Like it's okay. I just don't get it, y'all. I don't. That really bothers me.
I'm smiling because people like to say when you come out as soon as you come out the closet, you had that period when you're super gay.
Right.
Calm down. Right. So it's like,
like you go through your little phase, no cap.
Yeah. Like you got the rainbow flag hanging up in your room. You're like, okay, girl, take that.
I didn't get to read what somebody said in the comments. Amir, he said religion validated people's hatred of the LGBTQ community. To them, they are killing in the name of the Lord. So to them, they are justifiable in their actions.
Yeah, that's how they feel. They feel like they're killing in the name of God, killing in the name of Lord. So their actions and what they did was justifiable because God would approve. That's how they feel.
That's crazy. That is really, really mind-boggling to me. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move to the next one before I keep going on it because I keep going on about that one. I don't play. The last one is really gonna tie into us going into our topic. I let Bryce know this before I told him I was gonna talk about it. Just so we can kind of blend it in until y'all giving y'all opinions about the situation. But I don't know if you guys watched the show Pose. But Billy Porter is the commentator in Pose, and I'm a commentator too, so I always watch his actions and watch how he acts at balls and things of that sort, just so I can kind of like get a good feel of what a commentator is supposed to be and how they're supposed to be at balls. Billy Porter just came out after 14 years. After 14 years under hiding under a rock, after dealing with so much during his childhood and him, being the actor that he is now. He came out and finally told that he is HIV positive. That was for the world to know is a big thing. To actually share that with people, I feel like is a really courageous thing. Um, how do you? We gonna I'm gonna mess it up for a second. How do you guys feel about celebrities? I'm just gonna leave it at celebrities. How do you guys feel about celebrities coming out with stuff like this, as far as them either being gay, being HIV positive, or having some type of, disability or something wrong with them? How do you guys feel about, like, we can talk about Billy Porter too if you want to start off with that, but just how do you feel in general about celebrities coming out to the world
I
about
feel like it's a good thing because it shows like a human just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And people, HIV positive people exist. The same thing when Charlie Sheen came out about his HIV status, people gave him a hard time, like a super hard time. And you know what? I'm glad that Billy Porter came out because it was genuine for him. But I feel like with Charlie Sheen, it kind of was like he had to. People were suing him and stuff like that. So, but I'm glad when celebrities do that because it shows that they are human. They go through illness just like everybody else, and they can strive. And that just because they're positive doesn't stop you from being able to work, being able to be successful.
True.
But I don't like celebrities running for politics, though. So
that's right. What's going on, TQ? Talk to me.
I can definitely agree with Bryce. Definitely, if it's sincere and genuine, then it definitely means something to the community that individuals that are as well can still live their life. They can still excel in their dreams. They can still be on that same platform.
That's true. That's true. Well, since we're on this topic, we're going to go ahead and just glide right on into what our topic is tonight. Bryce, go ahead and bump us off, y'all. Until next time, we got to listen up with Shine.
Tonight, we're talking about HIV disclosure before and after, how to navigate disclosing your status to somebody, and how to navigate when somebody discloses their status to you. So the first thing I want to talk about before we go into how to disclose your status or disclosing your status, I want to talk about accepting your status for yourself. I feel like it's very important for you to accept it for yourself before you share it, because if you never fully accepted it for yourself and you share that type of information, the type of response that you could receive could really hinder you from continuing to be honest about your status, or it could hinder you from even wanting to ever disclose again. And it also could build some type of resentment or regret that you even shared that in the first place, because now you're like, I should have never said anything. I should have just kept that to myself. Yeah. So, Sean, how do you feel about that?
From experience, I guess sometimes it takes a while to accept it. It takes different methods, different practices to accept, something as drastic as that, because your life changes at that point. Because I don't think a lot of people realize sometimes just hearing it, or even just finding out your status or waiting on your status for that point. I know I've had plenty of friends that went and got tested at the health department, and they take a little longer to give you your results. So, in between times finding out, they're stressing, they're panicking, they don't know what's going on, their minds are racing. You start thinking about everybody who you don't encountered and had sex with. Everything just starts to play a part during that whole waiting process. But accepting that once you find out is very, very difficult to understand for self, especially if you have not been educated on HIV, if you have not been around someone who's experiencing or going through being HIV positive. It's way different. So I know for me, when I first found out my status, I didn't right away accept it, because my mind was a little off at that time, because I was, I was out partying, I was on drugs, and I was doing all types of stuff then. So I wasn't really as y'all forgive me, like because when I talk about this, I get a little emotional sometimes too. But my mindset at that time was not. I wasn't thinking about like It's something that helped me take care of myself, or I'm gonna be good. That's not what I was thinking at that time. I'm thinking like I'm dead. I'm about to die. Like I don't know how I don't know how I'm gonna tell people. I don't know what my body's going to go through while I'm dealing with this situation. How I'm gonna tell my family. Like, how do you move forward with that? Like, how do you navigate that? So, like, I'm glad we're having this conversation, but I didn't understand none of that at that time. And after so many years of processing it and dealing with it and taking my medicine and now working in the field, working at this job has definitely made me be way more comfortable with who I am and my status because I do take care of myself. So it's different for different people, you know. Accepting it is very, very, very difficult at times. Like I said, it just depends on the person and how much and how far you've been educated with this HIV period. So
I remember someone finding out that they were positive and they started calling everybody in their phone. In my heart, it was like, I was like, you not, I said, let's not do that. And they were like, well, why not? They're like my friends. I'm like, and not everybody's your friend like you think they are.
right.
And I felt like they should have took that time to really sit there and feel their real emotions. But their first like was like, let me call everybody and tell them. Like,
Yeah, don't do that.
when I found out, I sat there and I stared out the window for like 20 minutes. The doctor held my hand. I just sat there and I didn't say anything. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there like in silence. And what was going through my mind, I knew I was going to be okay, but I knew it was something I was going to have to deal with for as long as I live. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't like, I'm going to die. I was like, oh, bitch, I'm going to be okay. But this, fuck, like, I didn't like, this is not something I wanted to. This is not something I ever thought would be a part of my life.
Right.
You know, because I wasn't promiscuous or it doesn't even matter even if I was, but I wasn't like, I felt like I did everything right. And I felt like I was still being punished either for being gay or like because I was being punished for me being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, like this is what happens to me. And I remember what made me really not want to share in the first place is because like the nurse said to me, she was like, oh yeah, you was out there being hot in the twat. And I was like, bitch, I was fucking my boyfriend. Like, what you mean I was out there being hot in the twat? Like, who the fuck? You don't fucking know me. And I cussed, and I was like, I want another nurse because like you're not making the situation better.
Better, yeah.
So I really felt like I had to take the time to like really process and accept it for myself. But what I really didn't accept it for myself because my first thing was like, I need to get to a doctor. I need to get into care. I didn't even really fully like I understand what was going on, but I didn't fully like really accept it. I was like, okay, I need to like get the ball rolling with this. And then what made it worse is when I told my mother, because my mother felt like I was gonna die, and I was just like, girl, I'm not gonna die, girl. Like, which like,
and it's so hard trying to explain that to them.
Yeah, but like, and then that made me not want to be like, oh, like,
yeah,
because that was a lot for me. But I definitely think that you need to really sit there and take the time and tell your story when you're ready to. And then also, the second part I want to know, or I want to talk about, is when do you even know when it is right time to disclose or not? Like,
what was the question again?
Will you know, or do you know when it's the right time to disclose? Like, how do you even know like this is the right time?
So that's the iffy part, and that's the part with me you kind of was talking about.
Yeah.
Because it varies. It is very iffy. I'm gonna be stern with the way I say things. I think you should disclose. I feel like it gives people the opportunity, whether or not it gives them a choice, whether or not they want to deal with that or not. Then again, it's another part of me that's like, well, why should you disclose if it's not going to go anywhere? Or
like you said just before, you still want to give people that choice,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, you still want to give people that that choice to say, yeah, I want to take a risk with you, or like, no, even though you know nothing is really going to happen, but still, you want to give people that choice,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but it's also about.
Say, go ahead. See, that's what I'm saying. It's go ahead.
I'm just going to record and say I don't think there's ever really a right time. It's just you just have to do it. Like like it's not. It's I don't know. It's
when you feel it's literally when you feel fit and ready. When you had that urgency, that's like. So I'm gonna tell a little bit of my story. I didn't feel the need. I do tell people. I disclose it to people. I forget, but if that's just if I have a conversation with you, and I feel like you flirting or it's anything about to happen, I'm letting you know I've gave you had the opportunity to deal with this or not. I do let people know. I'm here to my medicine. I'm undetectable. Boom, boom, boom. We can go from there. Like yada yada yada. I've met some very ignorant people that said some very ignorant things to me. And then I met people that's like, all right, cool. Either I am too, or very much given like, all right, that's cool. That's fine. We got condoms. We da da da. Boom. All right. But it's literally when it has to be a moment where you have come to terms with like, okay, woo, I can finally accept this and understand like I am positive. I am. And I'm okay with that because I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I also want people to understand that they can relate to me or understand that HIV has no face. It can be on anybody, skin color, race, it don't matter. Like you can't I think I'm getting on the lines of when people be like, oh, somebody looks sick. Like you don't know someone's story, you don't know what happened, you don't know what I mean. People aren't. It's people not asking for this. Asking for this. People aren't just out here just being willy nilly. Like, oh, okay, cool. Let me just go catch HIV. Like that's fun. Like no, like.
I heard that was a thing up north, but we're gonna keep it classy.
Just saying, I know we're keeping it 100. We're just saying.
I know. My favorite thing to say is just rip the Band-Aid off. So sometimes it'd be like, like you just gotta rip the Band-Aid off. But I feel like it's more pressure on people who are HIV positive versus pressure on people who have like, let's say herpes or people who have, like HPV, like people are like, oh, you need to tell me. And it's like, if you had an STD before and it was curable, like gonorrhea, syphilis, do you disclose that? Oh yeah, I had syphilis back in 2017. No, people don't do that. But you
that somebody do that, they be like, yo, like, come on now, that was like 7 years ago. Are you
exactly. Serious? So I now I'm going back to what you said earlier. It's like, why should I even tell? Because it's like, you wouldn't tell me if you had syphilis back in 2014. You wouldn't tell me if you had gonorrhea back in 2019. You're gonna deal with it. You're gonna keep pushing.
Right.
But I think it's most important. I think it's about allowing yourself to be vulnerable because you're allowing yourself, you're opening up, you're allowing yourself to be hurt.
Right.
Which is scary. I'm going to use this analogy that I heard. I watched this channel on YouTube, but anyway, he was giving an analogy about being vulnerable. He's like, you have a vase and you're giving that vase to someone else and you allowing them to hold that vase. But with them holding that vase, you're allowing them to drop it and break it. Okay. And if they break it,
then what?
In that vase. So it's like how do you feel about being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be in that space where it could hurt or response could hurt?
I wasn't at that position. Mm-hmm. Being that I told someone my status and they're like, ew, that's nasty. I don't know how to deal with that. Like, are you walking around here just spreading stuff and you giving people stuff? How do y'all be wanting to have sex with people and y'all da da da? So initially, me being mean, my response was not okay that I sent back. I really got offended and I really just went left because I just felt like that person was very much uneducated on the whole fact of just being, positive or just HIV period. They weren't educated on any of that. So for them to think the way that they think and the way they were coming off just disgusted me. That's why I always tell people, literally take the time out to read. Reading is essential. You want to educate yourself on something. That's why you got all these people in school. They're learning so much. They really taking time out reading and actually educating themselves on these matters that people don't really pay attention to. And I really was hurt that person really could not fathom the fact that I was, telling them my status, and they were really, 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 really disgusting me with their response. And it's still to this very day, it makes it, I couldn't open up and be vulnerable because I didn't want to keep getting to know people. I didn't want to, do the whole dating thing. I didn't want to have to keep going through that whole cycle again of telling people over and over and over again about my status, this and the third, and just opening up to every single body, thinking I'm going to be with someone. That was not okay for me because you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to. I wouldn't necessarily take it that far with somebody now and be like, oh, okay, well, we're just having a conversation. You're not even in the same city as me. We haven't had sex. We haven't talked. We haven't linked. It was just very much a conversation via text. I'm not about to just give you my life. I'm like, no.
Understood. I'm just, yes, Linton.
Read some of them. What he say? Come on.
He said, this year I celebrate 10 years of life after HIV.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. See? What I'm saying? What was the last message? What the last person said? They said something. It's crazy. I can disclose my status to everyone, but my mother, she's the only one who doesn't know. When it comes to family, I will say that's a little bit harder to get to disclose to, because when you've grown up around your family, you see how your family act towards situations like that, and now you in that boat. It's a whole different ball game,
I just feel like being vulnerable itself is just dangerous because I don't even want to get to that point where I can even feel like I can be hurt, or like I want to be hurt. So, like you say, you disclosed it. This is so shady. This one boy was pursuing me, and I did not even like care for him at all. And I disclosed it because I want him to run away. I thought he was gonna run away. I was like, so I was like,
no, Bryce.
Yeah, but he was like, oh, it's a cool. He was like, oh, okay, it's cool. I don't care. I was like, you supposed to scare you away. So it's bad that I even thought about that, to use that to scare him away. Like, that's bad on my behalf because that shouldn't have been something I tried to use to like scare him away because I'm not interested. I should have just told him like I'm not interested. But no, my God, opening up is not hard. It's the fear of what's unknown is hard. If that makes any sense. So like sharing it is not really the hard thing. It's just like people trying to make after the fact, people trying to make you feel bad about you.
No one will ever use my truth to hurt me. I control the narrative.
You know what, Linton? I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
We do live in an age of exposure, and can't nobody expose you if you expose yourself. But we shouldn't even look at it as exposing ourselves. But like, can't nobody really hurt you if you control the narrative of your story.
Yep. And that was what I was saying earlier, because that's I got comfortable with who I was. If you want to really, if you want to be out here in this world, and I'm, people know my name, and I'm out here traveling around and doing things, I don't want it to be that's feeding into the stigma by not, being openly honest. I felt like, for me, because I'm now feeding into it. I'm walking around acting like everything is okay. You meet somebody, you're not telling them, and all of a sudden y'all linking, you have sex, or you do whatever, you kiss them. I don't care what it is. Give people the opportunity, whether or not they want to deal with that. And if I've met people that I was able to educate, like they didn't know you are like, well, how does that work? What do you on medicine? Oh, what does that mean? Suppressing the virus. You suppressing. Oh, I'm undetectable. What does undetectable mean? You start telling them I can't transmit anything to you. Undetectable equals untransmittable. That's when you start getting into those type of conversations. But I feel like people have to be open-minded to want to know those things. You know what I mean? And we live in a society now where I've heard this younger generation talking about HIV, and it's like history almost repeating itself for me. Because when I was growing up, HIV was just this horrible, bad thing, this, that, and the third. Now I'm hearing it all over again from the younger crowd, and I'm just like, yeah, I was once there, so I'm not going to judge you. The fact that you're saying what you're saying, but let me at least school you and tell you what's going on so you can be a little bit more aware. Like,
I've never had that experience because, you know what? I didn't become really I knew I was gay, but I really didn't become part of the LGBT community to after the fact, to after my status. So I was like, I never had that experience of like, oh, she dead or she got that shit or like something like. I never had that. I just after the fact, I'm coming in already, technically with the shits, and I hear other people talk about it, and it's like, oh,
that's what I'm saying. It's the lack of education. That's it.
Yeah, it's the lack of sexual education, and also it's the lack of acceptance that this is a real thing. Because a lot of people, that's why a lot of people, especially in the Black community, they're in denial about AIDS or HIV, and there's a lot of stigma around AIDS and HIV. Like, think of me were heterosexual men who were positive. How would you disclose that to a woman? And people will be like, "Oh, you gay," but it's like you're not even gay. You could have got that from an IV. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
How do you navigate that? And what you say, Linton? I came out to my family, then boom. That's how I feel too.
I feel like my family found out I was gay basically at like the age of 15. So like, I mean, it really wasn't like coming out for me. They just found out more so. But it did seem like it was just like a straight boom, found out that I'm gay.
Yeah, like boom, like
right behind, you know.
It's like, baby, as soon as I touched down.
Yeah.
See, I came out at 19. I always knew I was gay, but I couldn't verbally say it to myself until I was 15. So I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, "You gay?" And then after that, I'll be real. I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, "You gay?" So then, but I couldn't openly say like outside. I could say it to myself. So when I was 19 in college, I finally was comfortable to be like, you know what, y'all, I'm gay. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah. That wasn't the reaction I needed. Because I was like, what you mean, yeah, like you already knew. Bitch, you didn't know shit. Like, I was offended. I was like, what you mean? Yeah. I wanted that dramatic, oh my God. No, like it's sad, but like my mom was like, okay, and okay, that's all you got for me, okay, girl.
How you feel about it?
You knew I was the trade. Stop playing with me.
Okay.
I know I'm late, but did y'all talk about Miss Billy Porter yet?
We did.
Okay.
Everybody, welcome Justice. Another pediatrician specialist at Rain, also an FEU court navigator. Oh my God. But I also want to talk about after the ball drops. So let's say if you had an encounter with somebody, but they told you their status after the fact. How do you navigate somebody disclosing their status to you after you have already engaged in sex or sexual act with them?
Are you undetectable?
Are they undetectable?
Yeah, that's my first question. Are you undetectable? Do you take your medicine? What medicine are you taking? Let me see it. When did you get this prescription filled so I can count the pills and make sure?
Not you said let me see it.
Let me see it.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
It's one thing for you to say you're undetectable, but how do I know that?
What if I play? Let's play devil's advocate. What if I tell you I'm undetectable, but I'm really not?
Okay, when's the last time you got labs, baby? Because I work in this field. So when the last time you got them labs ran?
Yes. But what if I wasn't a person that didn't work in this field?
You said what?
What if I wasn't a person that didn't work in this field? How would I go about that?
When's the last time you've made sure that your medicine was working? Like, doing this job. When's the last time you've checked your levels and everything? Like,
I always ask, when's the last time you got tested?
Yeah.
And I always let it be known that I want to use condoms. And they like, oh no, like I'm clean. And I hate that term because it's like if you're engaging the act with like multiple people without using a condom, are you really the clean one in this situation? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like somebody said to me, like, oh, I'm good because I know I don't mess with dirty people. And it's like you are the dirty person.
Oh my God.
You is the dirty people.
Yeah.
So I just like you never know when somebody is lying, and having sex with somebody, now that I'm like into it like this, like into this field, it makes me realize that sex is really a level of trust that you cannot have with everybody.
It's Russian roulette.
Yeah, it's like literally. I can
Even
tell
if
you
you're in a committed relationship, it's still Russian roulette.
right. Like I can tell you I got tested 2 weeks ago, baby. I ain't been tested since 2018. I mean, I get tested regularly. Okay, so
But how we
like,
break that stigma, though, I'm not wanting to get tested because there's people who do engage in a lot of sexual activity and they never get tested because they're too scared to know.
well, baby, knowing and not knowing is the same to me. It's just like not knowing who gave you HIV. It's not gonna bring you any more distress if you knew who gave you HIV. So it's, you know what I'm saying? I feel like those are two in the same to me.
Actually, I feel the opposite. I feel like it hurts more when you know the person versus when you don't know.
I,
I feel like it hurts either way though.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, and
there's
I
no
would say
level of,
either way.
you
I
know what
would
I'm
say
saying?
either way.
You could be scared to get tested, and
I just,
if you do get tested and it's positive or it's negative, then I mean I feel like there's is still like a relief. One, because now you know what you can do or what you need
Mhm.
to do. It might hurt a little bit, but at least you know how to go about it. Whereas
so my thing is this: I've always been curious of those who like are so panicky and scared to know their status, but yet you not scared to go have sex. So I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm being honest when I say this, and
Okay, I understand.
I'm really not
Yeah.
trying to be funny. I'm
Yes.
just bluntly stating this because it blows me that
Mhm.
we as humans will sit and literally go and do like we know. You know how when you was a child, your mama tell you not to touch the stove because the stove was hot, but your
Mhm.
little fast ass had to go over there and touch the stove because there was a bright red light on, and you wanted to go touch it and be
Baby, I
fast.
did it to the light bulb.
Oh yeah,
I literally
that
said
was
to my
my
mom,
thing.
what happens
The
if you
light
touch the
bulb.
light bulb? You're going to get burned. And I touched.
I used to try to put my tongue on it. Everything.
You see what I'm
Sprayed
saying?
it.
So, we rebelled against what our parents was telling us at a young age because it made us more curious to want to go do it. Like,
Mhm.
so I feel like that when it comes to getting tested. I'm sorry, like this is my mindset when it comes to it. You know, you out here doing what you're doing. Even if you protecting yourself, you might have been a time where you slipped up. You might have did something. You know, whatever the case may be. Take the initiative to go actually find out what's going on instead of going to the next person after you scared and you may have actually had something or caught something during that situation and you just still going out passing it on. It's always good to get
Yeah.
tested when
I
if you're
remember.
being if you're not being I mean even when you're being monogamous, but just in general, just it's always good to know your status so that you yourself can
Mhm.
protect yourself regardless if you're negative or if you're positive. Because
Right.
STDs still move regardless when that's another whole topic on STDs
I
besides
remember
HIV.
when I was working at college, I was working with freshman male students, and instead of getting tested, they felt they had something. They have sex with somebody new and wait for them to say it, see if they say something.
That is so nasty.
And the term for that is gift givers. Those are people who know they know that they have an STD that's not being treated, and instead of treating it, they feel like, well, somebody did this to me, I did that to somebody else. Um, and I'm gonna be play devil's advocate. There was a time when I was hanging out with my friend, and there was this person who was considered a gift giver, and they saw that who they was hanging out with, and they went and told that person like, "Oh, don't hang around them because of blah 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 blah." Even though I feel weird about it because I feel like that's not right at all, but also part of me is kind of like, well, I don't know. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about if you know somebody who knows their status and they're not doing anything to anybody and they just keep spreading it? Like, how do you navigate that?
So I recently had that happen to me actually. um a good friend of mine, I recently found out that
Period.
they were recently found out that they were positive um by going to the bathroom actually in their house. I went to the bathroom and it was out. You know, their medicine was out. And I've known this person for years. And that kind of offended me that they didn't tell me at first. But I was like, okay,
Why?
well, because like I was
Is this the
diagnosed early,
longevity of the relationship?
and the fact that I came to them when I got my diagnosis. Like they were one of the first people I went to with my diagnosis, but I didn't trip about it. I was just like, I would like to have a conversation about it because, like, this could have been something that strengthened our bond or whatever the case may be. I'm not mad at him for not telling me, but I do know that he's in a relationship, um, and I it's taken everything in me not to tell the person.
I'm gonna tell you how you wrong on both sides. One, he probably hasn't accepted it. We talked about this earlier before you joined. He probably hasn't fully accepted it for himself yet.
Right.
Two, maybe his partner does know, but his partner acts like he doesn't know.
That's why I'm conflicted. Like, do I tell? Do I?
Well, how do you know that he
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
You should leave that up to him and let him disclose that. Yeah. Let him disclose it on his time.
Stay out of it. I'm gonna stay out of it.
That could cause a very dangerous. That could cause a very dangerous situation.
So let me ask you then. So what happens if he comes up positive? What happens? Am I a bad friend for not telling him because I knew?
How do you know he's not already positive?
You should be. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying. So we have to be mindful of, you know, with us working in the field we work in, I'm glad we're doing it like this though, because we have to come at it from different angles to see, because you know, people mess with your head like that, and they'll come at you and tell you some stuff, and you'll be sitting there thinking like, wait a minute, hold on.
And what about with the boyfriend pills?
Huh?
What about the boyfriend pills?
No, we confirmed that they were his pills.
Okay.
They don't live together. So they don't live together. That's how I knew. I was like, the only other person that lives here is a girl, and this ain't her bathroom.
Oh God. So yeah.
This ain't her bathroom.
You know, most relationships that I know of where one person is positive, other person is negative, they told their partner after they engaged in sexual activity. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna say, like, if I was HIV negative and somebody told me, I don't think I'll be too happy about it. But then also too, I had to look at it from another angle, because what if I did really develop feelings for this person? I really do want to be with this person. I love this person.
But okay, so what if they're having sex and the person is positive, but they don't know that they're positive, and then are they still considered a gift giver if they give it to them?
No, and not that. No, what that term is dirty and that term is slang. But what that term is being used is that term is for people who know they're positive and they're not treating it, and they're intentionally giving it to other people.
Right.
It's one thing if you don't know your status. It's one thing if you do know your status and you're undetectable, and it's another thing if you do know your status but you're not doing anything about it.
Right. So I feel the same way, because it's like, again, I'm going to emphasize this throughout the whole live. Give people a choice. Like, that's literally, I wish I was given a choice. I don't think it really was a choice for me. I think it was more so me just being, like I said, back then it was the drugs, it was the fun, the partying for me, and all the good, you know, the fun stuff that I was doing back then. I was so caught up that that wasn't a factor. That wasn't something that I was currently thinking about. It was like, just have fun and do what you do. But again, you know, to give somebody a choice and to let them know, like, listen, this is what's going on with me. You know, I don't know what you got going on, but if you want to come out to me, I'm all ears. I'll listen. But I mean, if you're negative and however you want to navigate this situation, we can do that. But just being relieved and knowing now, like, for me to have I outed my status back in December, you guys. I had went through this whole. It was a lot going on in my life. Let me just say that. So. And I outed my status on Facebook and got all these likes and comments and shares and people that would support me, inbox me, you know. And of course I had a couple of ignorant people that inboxed me too that said some really crazy stuff, like, I can't be your friend and like, but just to know now, like, I don't have to, like, people know. Like, they know Buddha. Yeah. So it's like, I felt like there was a big weight lifted off me. Like, I don't have to tell nobody that now. You know that. So now let's get past, since we passed that, and you were given the choice because you knew. Like, that was your exposing out of my status that's giving you choice right there. Do you want to deal with this or not? Do you want to be my friend? Do you want to be? Because I'm still going to live a successful life. I'm still going to continue doing what I need to be doing to take care of myself. If you either you're on this train or you're not.
Right. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice for me either. But that's what made me want to give people a choice. It was like I don't ever want to put nobody in that position. So when when I lost my choice, I wasn't bitter about it. I was mad as hell about it at first. But
do I have to? What about, like, you know how we have people who will never come out the closet? Well, we have somebody that's out the closet, but they will never share their status. Like, I'm never telling anybody.
That's fine. I mean, that's your business. I mean, sharing it publicly, but with your partners, please.
No, never means never. That means not even my partners.
Well, I would hope that you are living a very celibate life if you decide that you don't want to.
That is very scary.
Talk about
that. You people are crazy these days. You be with somebody 10 years and you ain't told them your HIV status. All of a sudden, one day, you know, and even if you are with somebody that long, I know for me, I'm basically gonna know everything about you, your social security number and everything if I'm with you.
Hello?
So
I'll have your location wherever you go.
Yeah, so it's like, and if you held that type of secret from me, and I had no way of finding that out, and we was together over 10 years, I don't know what my mental will be. I'm not going to say how I will act because I don't know. I may be furious because it's been so long, and I felt like we've been around each other this long. Like, why could you have not told me that, and why could you have not gave me a choice whether or not I wanted to deal with that situation? You know what I mean?
I remember there was this lady on YouTube. Her and her husband were married for 25 years, and he was HIV positive, and he never found out. She left the marriage HIV negative. She did not contract HIV from him, so that means he was undetectable the whole time. But she was offended that her husband never told her. And how she found out is that a freaking nurse at the doctor's office broke HIPAA. It was like, she was looking for the person. She was like, no, he's not home. This is his wife. And then she was like, oh, it's by his prescription. She gave the name of the medicine. And she's like, I never heard that medicine before. So she Googled it and found out what type of medicine it was. She confronted her husband about it. First, he denied it. Then he told her, and she went and got tested. She's HIV negative, but she was so mad at him for not telling her, which I understand. But
my God.
I'm glad that he was using that to his defense. He was like, well, I'm undetectable. I've been undetectable our whole relationship. But she was like, still, like, you should have told me that.
Yeah, I can't like say he was wrong for that, because I feel like we've been together for 25 years. Like, what about me don't you trust that you can't share that with me and think I would be okay with it?
Absolutely.
Right. I can get not sharing it like right off the back, you know.
Until you really know what's going on.
If you feel like he would have disclosed that at the beginning of the relationship, do you even think they would have made it that far though? Keep it hot, like
in the beginning. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, if he would have, like, were they married? Was that
yes?
So I feel like before they got married, that should have been a discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
That should have definitely been.
Agreed.
Dating. Honestly,
I feel like it should be discussed before y'all do anything freaky zeeky.
Well, of course, but I mean, at the same time, if he was undetectable and taking care of himself, and he felt like that, you know, he didn't know how she was going to take it. He didn't know where the relationship was going to go. I can understand that.
Bryce,
as long as he knew what he had to do. It'd be different if he didn't say nothing and he wasn't doing what he had to do, and then they got married and they still didn't have a conversation about it. And but
Bryce, do you have that paper that you gave us at work?
No, but I do remember. So according to, like, specifically to North Carolina, I was going to save that topic for another day because we're going to do a whole nother episode about criminalization of HIV. Today I was going to keep it social and talk about how we disclose our status, but it is in North Carolina.
We can say it, just brush past it. We ain't gotta dissect.
Yeah,
gotta go all the way deep in there.
Yeah. Okay, but I want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about is keeping agency. I want to talk about how you keep somebody's status to you. What if you were dating somebody and they disclose this status to you, but you don't want to continue the relationship with them, but you see them dating your friend? Is it your job to keep that to yourself? Because I feel like it is. I feel like if you disclose status to me, that's something I keep forever. I gotta take it to the grave. It's not my business to tell anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. It's not even on no HIPAA, but we on some real life reality.
That's some real shit.
That's just some
real shit.
That's messy. Yeah, like don't be messy about it. And especially, you know what I'm saying, if it's a situation where you felt like the person was in danger, or, you know, it was a life-threatening situation or something of that sort, by all means, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna be honest. If it was that deep, I would say something. But if it's not life threatening and that deep, I'm not running my mouth. I'm not saying nothing. That's not my business to be saying. Like, no. Like, even when I know people that have passed away and things of that sort. Like, it's not my business to be telling all their business after they pass away. Like, no. Like, their business is their business. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying shit.
yeah. I'm about to
I'm
say
just gonna
it right now.
I'm just gonna turn my head and drink my drink because
I think it's just kind of hard to have this
not
conversation
my
too
monkey, not
without
my
kind of
circus.
because and Bryce, I had to go back to it, but it's kind of hard to have this conversation without being technical and letting people know, like, if they have to really give their to tell their status. And we can, I know we talking about North Carolina, but like,
yeah,
that's something that we need to say, like, because I've heard people say some really weird things about disclosing their status. So it's not technically by law, I don't have to say this and da 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 da. And
Oh,
I'm like,
I hate
I've heard,
that.
yeah.
I hate that.
So
if the person's abusive, I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, little baby, he like to so be careful with that. But anything else, you know he was a cheater before you got with him, girl. You was helping him cheat, so you know. I don't need to tell you that. No, I want to make sure that people always say things like people need to disclose their status, but also people need to keep some type of agency too. So if somebody does share their status with you, it is I think your social responsibility to keep that between the two, y'all, because that person was trusting enough to share that with you. Right. You're demanding that somebody discloses their status to you, and then disclose it, and now.
So, quick story since we're talking about keeping agency. Literally found out my diagnosis in September of 2017, and like the first day I was in the hospital, I made it my business to tell my best friends, like my closest friends, and no sooner than I get home. So y'all know my story. I spent some time in Atlanta, came back. When I got back, my best friend came to hang out with me and was like, yeah, such and such. I had mentioned something about her being pregnant, and I guess that nobody was supposed to know that she was pregnant. Only one person knew that she was pregnant. The same girl that I told my status. And she was like, well, since before we get to anything else, she already told me that you're positive and da 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 da. And while we're having a conversation in her car, the girl is texting her like, what you doing? And she was like, I'm with Justice. And she was like, oh, well, don't forget to act surprised that you know about him having HIV. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so that's why, for me, it's just like, okay, I can understand why. Like, that's something you keep to your life. Even if we're all friends, no, my business is my business, and you give me that opportunity to tell that person. That's my story to tell, not yours.
Right.
So, yeah, like somebody's status is definitely not your business to tell. That's a story that a lot of people
that's status shaming. Like, that's status shaming. Oh, she positive, he positive, she positive, he positive. Da, da, da.
Right.
Okay, and they probably more healthy than you, the person that's sitting there running their mouth.
No, baby. When's the last time you got tested? Have you ever been tested?
Like, it'd be the mess in my community, the people I'm hanging around. That's the reason why I'm saying it, because I hear it where I'm always out, and I be hearing people say dumb stuff. Like, stop doing that, because it looks very ignorant of the community to be walking around saying and doing stuff like that, and you feeding into the stigma when you're doing stuff like that, and you supposed to be supporting me and my people and my job and my friends and the people that you know. It come out fake. It really, really comes out fake. So don't feed into that stigma. Don't be that person. Like, you know it's help out here. You know it's medicine to help people that's positive. You know it's medicine out here to keep people from even contracting HIV. So it's information out here that you can get, or if you want it, it's you know what I mean. So this conversation is just deep. It's just really, really deep, because I just disclosing your status is a very courageous thing for people to do. Like, it's not easy just to walk out here and walk out the door and be like, hey, look at me, I'm HIV positive and I just want to tell the world. Like, no,
it's not like that. It's not like that at all. But people use
go ahead, Justin.
You're breaking up, baby. You're breaking up.
Why people don't. Are we good?
You breaking up a little bit. You breaking up.
Let me turn my Wi-Fi off, child. Is that better?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. I was gonna say, like you said, it takes a lot for somebody to, reveal their status, and then even when they do, to supposedly trusting people will still take that and use it against them. And it's just like, why? Do you go around telling everybody your grandma got diabetes or she got cataracts?
Yeah, to get out of work. I gotta go take care of my grandma. She got that. She got the sugars. So
y'all play too much.
But it's just like it's so easy to use those things against somebody. And it's like, why would you do that?
The reason why it's easier to do those things is because people see cancer and diabetes as something that happens to you. I love you, Lachelle. I love you. They see those as things happen to you. People see HIV as something that you did to yourself.
Like you did.
So that's why your stigma comes from. It's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. And it's like, it's not that I did anything wrong. I'm human.
Right. And you don't even know people. I say you don't know people's story because somebody could have been raped. Somebody could have been born with HIV. Like, it's so many different stories behind people's exposure or them contracting HIV. So you have to be mindful of things like that and stop just thinking just because somebody tells you the HIV status that you can use it against them and hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
That's like another whole thing.
Like, you should be thankful that I'm with you because you positive. I could be somebody.
Right.
What? I wish a motherfucker would tell me that. I wish. Come again.
Oh my!
You
okay?
My God, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. I feel like this was a very good conversation.
We need to do part 2 of this.
Okay.
Like, we kind of add that with the next topic, the one you said we're gonna do criminalization and stuff.
We need to talk about the criminalization of HIV in different states and the criminalization of HIV across the U.S. because people are actually serving time for their status. Yes, they are. So we need to talk about that with my episode. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank our viewers for commentating and leaving comments. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Come next Thursday.
I gotta leave you with one more thing.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
This is my eye child. My track is my eye.
Because getting tested is what?
Sexy. Thank y'all so much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.